most vulnerable world. We need something more powerful than any of us.
Everyone creates the thing they dread. Ultron in the flesh.
No matter who wins or loses, trouble always comes around. You've meddled with something you don't understand.
We have no place in the world.
I'm gonna tear you apart from the inside.
Oh boy.
Forget Ultron, Joss Whedon is playing with us. This is the most subtle blockbuster trailer I think I've ever seen. He knows he has us hooked. Forget our curiosity. He's had our attention from the get-go. He's got loads of time to draw out this ad campaign for Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. We're all going to see it anyway, no matter what they put up on the screen. And so it's interesting to see this campaign evolve because it knows that it has this kind of latitude. So we're seeing a little bit something different here. And it, again, quite subtle, incredibly subtle. And at first glance, it might seem like there's not much here. But oh, there is. Also, lots of hints and teases for the Marvel fanboy. And we're going to try and discern them as best we can. And if anybody has any insight that I'm not privy to, please share it down below in the comments. Now, here's a big thing. At first I was like, what woman has that hand going over her face and being pushed down on that table? So I went frame by frame, and it's Scarlett Johansson, which means potentially Black Widow backstory. Interesting that they would choose to do it here, especially when she was pregnant for the filming of this and was not really available. Certainly not 100% available, literally, physically. But I'm very interested to see the Black Widow storyline accomplished here, and perhaps because she too was experimented on and altered against her will, maybe this is another common ground that she and Bruce Banner share together. I like it. I like it a lot. Also, before we dive into this shot by shot, I also want to point out that I really like the theming here. Ultron wants to break the Avengers. It's a broken team. He's broken. He thinks the world is broken. It's a theme here as strong as Pinocchio. And when you hear the "No Strings on Me" still being used quite effectively, the notes are off key, and I think that's a really great choice. It's super creepy. Actually, someone said when I reviewed the Ant-Man teaser trailer, someone said, "Oh, well, hopefully I can take my kids to this," and I was like, "You can't take your kids to see any Marvel movie." And this BTT viewer pointed out, "Well, Ultron was pretty scary," and I had to check under my child's bed for several days after he or she, I believe it was a he, watched that trailer. So this is very exciting, I think, as a whole. Sorry for that kid, but it's going to really make an impression, and that's that Marvel might finally have their first genuine villain. That's genuinely frightening. So thank you, James Spader and the special effects team who has animated Ultron. All right, so let's go into this. We're going to go shot by shot. There's a lot of repetitiveness, but there are some really interesting clues that are dropped here. So we've got our Marvel Studios logo here. Now we have Hawkeye telling everybody to get to safety. Now, I think this is really great because it kind of sets up the whole idea of, saving the world, where, the Avengers putting them in reality. I think it's really important to ground comic book movies, especially when you have non-comic book readers going to see them. I think they have to be like, well, how would this relate to me? And here you go. Here are the Avengers, kind of like disaster relief. They don't just take down the disaster, they help clean up afterwards. Kind of, I think that's S.H.I.E.L.D's job, right? So here, Captain America looking very much the leader of the gang. You've got Hawkeye. You've got a lot of, silent standing shots of like, oh, we're all so sad. We really made a mistake. I just love the Ultron design, by the way it's just a distorted, Iron Man uniform. So here we've got, Bruce Banner, potentially going all hulky. Okay, there we go. Here, this is two really great things. First of all, Nick Fury. Some people wondered if he'd be in this movie. He is, of course, in hiding, but he's not going to hide from Avengers 2 Age of Ultron. Sam Jackson isn't missing that. Here he is. He's still got the eye patch, but now he's wearing like a fisherman's skull cap. He's on the run, maybe perhaps somewhere in Maine. But then this is what's the first big thing here, and that is this person turning around, dropping a robe underground. I can't quite tell, of course, who that is. It's obviously designed to be that. Even when I blow it up really big, clearly though, what's interesting is I think it looks like a black actress. So that's great to maybe get some color in here. And you know what this is probably going to be? This is probably alluding to Black Panther. Now we know that Ulysses Klaue is in this, played by Andy Serkis. So we're going to have backstory we're going to have a backstory for Black Widow, origin story for Black Panther. And perhaps this is his mother, perhaps this is some kind of spirit leading him further into the cave, perhaps leading Ulysses Klaue further into the cave for that whole origin story. So that's what I suspect is going on here. So you're getting not only your first look at the Black Panther storyline, but Wakanda, right? Because that's where Ulysses S. Klaue causes all these problems. All right, so moving on. Now we get more again, the bicker. Apparently Scarlet Witch can take out Iron Man with that blast. That's how strong it is, without even looking. Now, this is where we've got the Black Widow backstory. I think this is very interesting. I think experimentation might be a common theme because I believe it's hinted at very strongly that our Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch are experimented on to become, Quicksilver, to become Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. So I think that, they can join the support group as well. So we're moving on here. We've got some flying with Ultron and the Iron Man suits. Then we've got, I love the Ultron suits flying up into the air. More Iron Man, of course. I like local police. Good luck taking on the Hulk, right? Now I love this. This is a very cool Black Widow shot. It's a bit of a butt shot, but that's cool. She's holding some major artillery, so I think everybody can be happy with this shot. And it looks like she's in some kind of maybe perhaps Russian setting, going back to her past. And I also like that Black Widow isn't afraid to take on these really dangerous situations solo, to some extent at least, even though she really doesn't have any superpowers. I mean, she's a little advanced like Steve Rogers, but still, she's in there mixing it up with everybody else. Love Scarlett Johansson in this role. All right, so we're moving on. More Scarlett Johansson. There's only Andy Serkis could pull off that beard. And we've got the Quinjet or whatever it's called here. The big fight. More people scared. Then there's the big romantic thing between the two of them. Okay. Then you see Ultron with this blast. Now, this is a very interesting blast. It looks a lot like Scarlet Witch's blast, right? So can he maybe take on other people's powers? Is he just being nice to her to get her abilities? One of the rumors is that he's trying to upgrade throughout the film. So that could be very potentially interesting. Or maybe just all red energy blasts look the same. And then Thor channeling some pretty awesome lightning. I haven't seen him do that before. He usually just calls it down. So I love that application of the God of Thunder aspect to his character. Then we've got, that looks a little bit like Scarlet Witch profile there. Inner fighting, they all hate each other. It was pretty close that way to begin with. Hulkbuster, awesome. Okay, but of course, Bruce Banner, the Science Bros are having a little bit of an argument, so we'll just see who wins. My money, I don't know who my money is on. Whose money who would you place your bet on to win that fight? Then more fighting, because Scarlett Johansson looks great there. The Hulk, let's see here. Everybody looks good. I just really like seeing female superheroes well realized in a fun, competent manner instead of being eye candy. So then let's see here. They're fighting. More of this fight. Now this is important. Right here. I was just killing time with my feminist statements for this moment. Okay, here. This is now... Either you can see the redness in the Hulk's eyes. So either he's been hit really hard by Iron Man in the Hulkbuster uniform, or perhaps he's under some kind of mind control by maybe the Scarlet Witch, whose main color is red, right? She doesn't really do mind control. She really alters probability. Very interesting power, although apparently she also has energy blasts. I believe she uses those in the comics. I'm not a big Scarlet Witch fan. But anyway, this redness in the eyes here, to me, perhaps has mind control. Something's obviously, because, why why is the Hulk attacking his group? Unless, Tony Stark just said something jerky, which is also totally possible. But I think that's very interesting. Either it's from the fight or it's some kind of mind control. But that's also to borrow one of the very first Avengers storylines when Loki took control of the Hulk. They didn't utilize that in the first movie. Maybe Joss Whedon's circling back around to pick it up here. All right, Hulk. Okay, and then big one last blast. I think that's going to be obviously an important fight, and then your title, and then Ultron. Don't forget who's the big bad. All right, so that's my trailer review. What do you think? What do you think of this ad campaign that Avengers: Age of Ultron is waging? Do you like this subtle blockbuster ad campaign? Do you like that Joss Whedon is taking his time? So many people say, don't show me the whole movie in the trailer, and that it's very much not what's happening here. They are really playing it close to the vest. They have the time, they have our attention, and they have our ticket, really. So this is basically just, for fun and to dissect. So share your own theories down below. Are you excited for Black Widow origin story? Are you excited for the introduction of Black Panther, or at least Wakanda, and the beginnings of his origin story? Thank you so much for tuning in. Write your thoughts down below, and you can check out some more episodes right now.